The 1 Year Bible Storybook by Virginia J. Muir. Today's story is A Special House for God. Comes from chapter 25 through 27 in the book of Exodus. When Moses gave the people all God's rules, they promised to obey. Then God called Moses back to the mountain so he could give him pieces of stone with the 10 Commandments carved on them. This time Moses took Joshua with him, and they were on the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights. God told Moses he wanted the people to build a special place in which to worship him. He described it to Moses very carefully, and even after gave him a pattern to follow. Because the people were traveling, the building had to be easy to move. So God said it must be a tent that could be taken apart and carried. This building was to be called the tabernacle. Then God described the kind of furniture that should go into the tabernacle. One of the most important pieces would be the Ark of the Covenant. Not the kind of ark that is a boat like the one Noah made, but a beautiful chest made of wood and then covered with gold. The cover of the chest or ark would be called the mercy seat. They were also to make a table, a lampstand with 7 lamps, and altars on which offerings would be made and incense burned. God gave Moses a list of the materials he would need: gold, silver, bronze, beautiful cloth, wood, oil, spices, incense, and jewels. God appointed Aaron and his family to be in charge of the worship that would take place in the tabernacle. Aaron would be the high priest, and his 4 sons would help him. It would be the priest's job to sacrifice the animals the people of Israel brought as offerings to God. God wanted the priests to have special clothing to show they had been especially chosen for their work. Aaron's clothes would be the finest. He would wear an embroidered robe covered by a blue coat. Then the hem of the coat would be bells with blue, purple, and scarlet decorations in the shape of pomegranates. Over the coat, he was to wear a cloth vest called an ephod, which had 12 kinds of jewels sewed onto the front. The jewels should be a ruby, a topaz, an emerald, a carbuncle, a sapphire, a diamond, an amber, an agate, an amethyst, an onyx, a beryl, and a jasper. Each jewel represented one of the tribes of Israel. Aaron was to wear special shirts and undergarments. On his head he should wear a linen turban that had a gold plate on the front of it with the words, "Holiness to the Lord." Aaron's sons were also to wear robes, sashes, and turbans. God told Moses to have a special dedication ceremony for the priest. He was to put oil on their heads and pray that they would be good priests and leaders of worship. The clothes for the priest comes in chapter 28. Next, chapter 29 tells us the dedicating of the priest. God gave Moses more details about the way he was to dedicate Aaron and his sons for the priesthood and the tabernacle. He was to prepare 3 kinds of bread made without yeast and bring a young bull and 2 rams that were perfect. He was to have Aaron and his sons bathe at the entrance of the tabernacle. Then Moses should dress them in the clothing God had described. He should pour oil on Aaron's head. That was a ceremony people used then to show that a person was chosen for a very special task or work of God. Next, they should offer first the young bull and then the rams as offerings to God. They were to do certain things with the different parts of the animal's body, following God's detailed instructions. The meat and the bread were symbols or signs of obedience, setting Aaron and his sons apart as different from all other people. They were priests in the house of God in the tabernacle. This ceremony was to be repeated every day for 7 days, as offerings were made on the altar. The altar was dedicated to God and became a holy place of offerings and worship. God said if all these instructions were followed carefully, he would always live among the people of Israel and be their God. That was the very reason he had brought them out of Egypt.